All right, guys, look. I'm going full on tinfoil hat. All right, you might as well call me Mel Gibson because I'm gonna have my tinfoil hat on and I'm gonna be waiting for things to go crazy in this world because right now things are wild. I will just say this adamantly. I am super pissed off with the way that our culture is handling this event that's happened to our president, which is right outside the White House while he's addressing the nation. Somebody had a shooting right outside the White House, and now with all of the stuff that's been going on with the protests and the riots and all the stuff that is honestly it feels like the apocalypse. It kind of almost doesn't phase us, right? Like, oh, you're saying there's another shooting in this 3 month period, 6 month period where there's been hundreds upon hundreds of shootings. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that this time it was within earshot of the the leader of the free world, ladies and gentlemen. Now you could hate Trump, you could like Trump, you could have a poster of him on your wall, or you could have a poster, or you could be hanging him in effigy, and burning a straw representation of him like a voodoo person would. But it doesn't matter. At this point, it comes down to pure patriotism. Are we going to let anything happen to our president, our sitting president, our acting president? Is that something that's just going to be okay and fly under the radar? Because what it seems like is like this happens, he gets evacuated on live television. He gets taken out of the press conference, and then we hear a little bit about it, little bits here and there. Fox posts about it, CNN posts about it, and then it's just right back to the address of the nation. It's just right back to the press conference. It's weird. Why do I feel like this should be a bigger deal than it is? And to me, it makes sense. It's like there is no more good and evil. There is no more right and wrong. People no longer care about doing what's morally good or holding some ounce of character. They just don't anymore. It's wild to me. People are treating this as if it's some blip on the radar of everything that's going on when it's not. This is the president of the free world who, within earshot's distance, had a bullet pull. Was able to hear a bullet. This is wild to me. And so we don't know what happened yet. I'm not here to say that like this was definitely an attack on the president or it definitely wasn't an attack on the president. What I am saying is that we should be investigating this and this should really be affecting us. Not because he's better than us, not because he's some elite out in DC, but because we have to have a certain amount of reverence for the spot, for the position of the presidency, because ultimately he's the one that represents us to every other nation. And if he looks weak, if it looks like we don't care about him and that we can access him, what makes any other country think that they can't just come into America and do whatever they want, take over it? Because let me tell you, if there would be a time to attack America, it would be right now. Thank God most of our citizens are still armed with the hashtag 2A, which I'm all about, and even more so now. I think that it's unbelievable that the media keeps suppressing all of these key issues. The idea of pedophilia just keeps flying under the radar. The Jeffrey Epstein thing was huge. Why? Because of cultural Marxism, right? Because he was a straight, cisgender, white, rich male who has in some way embodies the patriarchy. So we were all like, yeah, let's take this guy down. Why haven't I heard a peep about Ghislaine Maxwell? Ghislaine Maxwell in I don't know, 4 days, 5 days. This was Jeffrey Epstein was on the news every single day, night and day. We could not get enough of it. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself was the biggest hashtag I think trending on every social media platform for months, even till today. And I think it says a lot about the morality of this nation, which I'm really, really concerned about because we are normalizing acts of violence. We're just describing them as language of the unheard or people who are in rebellion who feel like they've been oppressed and so now they're lashing out in violence. And in reality, it has nothing to do with it. Wrong is wrong. Violence is wrong. Things like that should not happen. And if the people who do commit those things should be in prison. And I think that there's this weird thing happening to this country where we look at violence and we want to excuse it depending on the political agenda. And this goes for the left and for the right. I saw a video that a bunch of people on the right were sharing about some guy that like there was like a nude protester in the middle of the road. The guy gets out of the road and just clocks him in the face and then goes on acting like that was some big victory, right? Like, oh, this is cool. Oh, that's how you handle a protester. When in reality, that's not how anybody should handle anybody in modern society. And just because one person does it doesn't mean that we should all do it. Doubling down, punching back twice as hard. I understand that that's kind of what Donald Trump was known for, right? Punching back twice as hard, but he's not out there with a freaking, a boxing glove swinging on people. He's using words, which now, this is the ironic part, and this is the takeaway. So if you take nothing else away from this video, this is what I want you to understand right here. We are treating violence as if it's words, and we are treating words as if they are actions and violence. So the cultural Marxist or the liberal left or the Democratic Party will say stuff like, oh, we have to provide a safe space. Those words are oppressing my reality, right? They're ruining my truth. And therefore you need to be canceled. Therefore you need to have your job removed. Therefore you need to be taken away from whatever it is that you're doing. You're no longer allowed to function in society. But the people that are burning down buildings, burning down cop cars, killing cops, killing innocent women, are the people that we're given an excuse to. And it's this, the good shall be known as bad and the bad shall be known as good, which makes me go tap into my innate, Pentecostal, end of the world revelation stuff. But I'm not saying that that's what's happening. What I'm saying is that what our culture is doing is exactly that. We are flip-flopping the definition of words and violence, and nothing means anything anymore. Friendship doesn't mean friendship. Friendship means if you have the same enemies, then you're friends. And it's wild to me. We need to go back. I'm not only conservative, I am not a progressive, I am a regressive. Let's go backwards in time to when words had meaning, when good was actually good, when bad was actually bad. And you might be saying, well, when was that? Any other time before today? That's when. I'm so tired of having to talk about politics and dealing with these cultural issues and trying to come up with some intellectualized argument about why you shouldn't burn down your own city or why Joe Biden smelling kids and grabbing them is wrong. I'm so tired of intellectualizing this. We should just be able to say these things. And it should be an assumed wrong. I don't understand it. Anyway, that's my rant for today. But I will leave you guys with this. I want to say that we need to start checking people's character again. We need to start assessing people's character and trusting people in their character, in their what's the word I'm looking for? In their consistency of decision making. That's what it is. We have to stop caring about whether people vote Trump or vote Biden or if they're leftists or they're Marxists or they're this. We need to go back to the character of a person. Somebody can disagree with me on everything, but if they are consistent in their thoughts and they are consistently good people who are well-intentioned people, then I'm fine with them. What I'm tired of seeing is hypocrisy and flip-flopping. That's what I'm tired of seeing. And I mean that in politics, I mean that in personal relationships, I mean that in community, I mean that in every sense of the word. And I mean that in churches, I mean it all. So that's what I want to see now. I am done trying to measure people's accomplishments versus their character flaws. And how about we all just work on our character? How about that? Is it that hard? Be a good person, strive to be like Jesus. Is it that hard? You have one goal. The goal, be like Jesus. Did Jesus ever punch somebody in the face? No, but he flipped the table because he was trying to stop idolatry. He was trying to stop the selling of worship. You know what the selling of worship looks like now? And this is a totally different story, but I'm going to go there. If you just send $1,000 now, Jesus will bless your life. God will bless your life because he wants you to win. Nah, man. I'm flipping some tables. I'm out.